All right, great. So welcome. Thanks for joining us. This is a little bit about me. This is me in 8th grade. I always feel like it's fair to show people what I look like in the 8th grade if I'm going to be talking to and about 8th graders. This is me after performing in 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. I have terrible braces and a terrible haircut. Please call me Maggie, right? Sometimes people, worry about that. I love Denise. Denise and I are professional fans of each other and personal fans of each other, I think. So I'm really excited to be here today. And I've been a teacher since 2013. So welcome and thanks for being with us today. Okay, so you're here because you want to get some tips on the Dream Big contest, right? You want to get some tips on the Dream Big contest. The first thing that we always have to do whenever we are looking at any kind of contest or application is like really break down what they're asking us, right? Because this is the secret sauce of how we win. This is the secret sauce of how you do the best. So think about what they're asking you. So we know that this is for all Baltimore City, Baltimore County students, grades 5 to 12. I underlined and bolded what I think are the most important words, right? Consider the big dreams for your lives, communities, and schools. And then you're going to submit a 1-page poem, 300-word essay, or a 1-minute video bringing that vision to life. So to me, the phrase bringing that vision to life is the new thing from this year. In the past, it just asked you to share your dreams for your communities, yourself or your family. This year, school is new. And this year, bringing that vision to life is new. Is that right, Denise? Nice.
That is right. That is right. We changed it to, we really, a lot of youth want to talk about changes they might want to make in their school. And so we thought that was a great thing to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's just kind of my first tip is whenever you get a document like this, especially if it's something you're entering year in, year out. Like a lot of times if you did National History Day, the theme for National History Day is the same, but slightly different each year. So you really kind of have to live in that nuance. If you compete in scholastic writing, sometimes there's themes and each year the theme is slightly different. When you apply for college scholarships or when you write the essays for the Common Apps, a lot of them might seem similar, but they're very slightly different. So really take a second and break down what it's asking you because that will lead you to success. We know that if you win, you get all these incredible prizes. You get to be on WBAL TV. And you can achieve the rank of visionary or achieve the rank of dreamer. And it's due by March 11th. So you have some time. The goal today was to leave probably with a nice structure or some ideas, maybe even to write some today. We'll see. Any questions about what this contest is asking? You can just unmute your mic and ask if you want to. Any questions?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
And by the way, if you do have questions while Ms. Phenicie is talking or Maggie is talking, thank you. Just put them in the chat and I can, let her know their questions. So
great way to, thanks, Denise. Awesome. Okay. I love a GIF or a GIF, so you're going to see them throughout. If they're corny and old school and too millennial, I understand, but I love them a lot. Does it have to be minimum 300 words? I believe maximum 300 words, right?
It's maximum 300 words.
Great. So Grayson's already off to a great start. He has 276. Very good. Okay. Nice. Yeah, you're welcome. Today you're going to be brainstorming, choosing topics, figure out how to present your ideas. Some of you already have that, so excellent. And then start to write. Okay. If we want to do this, we can. If we don't think we need to today, that's totally fine. And you can have this PowerPoint to use for other things. But whenever I am writing something, I find that the best way to get myself started is to truly just get out an old school notebook or a Google Doc and set myself a timer. And the goal when I am writing and brainstorming is to just get as many ideas kind of barfed out of me as I can at one time. If you want to write, there is a book by Anne Lamott called Bird by Bird, and she has a famous piece that's called crappy, but a different word for crappy, first drafts. And the whole idea is that the challenge for most writers is just getting something on the page initially. What I think you might want to do is to start and make yourself a list of things that you want for yourself. I think it can be as small or unimportant as a new video game system or a new pair of sneakers or X number of followers on Instagram. Or it could be as large as I want a college scholarship. I want to live in this city. I want to achieve this goal for myself. But so you can make a list for yourself of things that you want. And that will kind of help you generate some ideas for that one of 3 routes that you could take for your essay. Okay. Do we want to do this now or should we keep going? I'm very flexible either way, depending on audience needs. Let's do it all at the end. We'll do it all at the end. That's what I'm going to suggest. Okay. So you can make like a bulleted list of goals, dreams, things you want for yourself. There's my Zen music. It's torturous. Okay. So a big change that Denise and I just talked about is that in this year's contest, you can talk about your schools. This area, to me, feels like a very fruitful area, given where most schools are, kind of mid or post-pandemic. And I think that for this one, if I were brainstorming, I would try to answer this question as many ways as I could. I would start about what are some things that I don't like about my school right now, or some challenges that I'm seeing, and what are some things that I love or like about my school, right? It does not have to be, again, huge things. It could be, right? Bullying is something that comes up a lot. Social media is something that comes up a lot. Maybe this year your school is having a hard time getting enough teachers, so you've had a lot of weird substitutes. Maybe this year you've had issues with masks or the curriculum or division among the students. To me, that's another great place to start when I'm thinking of a topic, is to think about what are some challenges that I'm seeing kind of right now in my life in the school. As someone who has graded a lot of these kinds of essays before, I will tell you that a big path to success is always specifics. And a big path to success is kind of details and being as personal as you can. Being really kind of broad tends to not be as successful. Okay. So you might want to ask yourself, what are some challenges you're seeing in your school? What are some things you like or love about your school would be a topic. This is just another way to think about what are some ways that your school has changed since you came back in person. How might that seem different? This is Napoleon Dynamite, the movie. We've already seen that. Yeah. Okay. Again, just another way to set it up. A little quick T-chart, best things about my school, things I'd like to change. Grayson, I'm just going to zoom through this since you already have a draft. And then what we can do is if you're able to share it with me and you want me to give you some feedback, we can do it that way too. The last category, right, is community. I wasn't sure who was going to be on the call, so I wanted to give some definitions of community. I think it just helps us to kind of anchor ourselves in that. We might already know what that means. And then thinking of what communities you're a part of, right? Some people have a community in a house of worship. Some people have a community among the people in their neighborhood. Some people have a community, among a certain club or political identity, or different parts of themselves. So thinking of what communities you're a part of and the challenges and successes that you see there too. I think all of us who live in the city of Baltimore are part of one very large community. But I, for example, live in a different part of the city than others, right? I live in Federal Hill. So my specific community has some different challenges than other parts of the city. And we have some different successes than other parts of the city. So I could really zoom in on that community as well. Same thing, right? So that we're not totally living in the negative space. Do you think it's helpful to think about what things are best? What are some things we'd like to change as well? Okay. This part is my biggest tip that you can take with you for all of your writing is that, and maybe Denise can verify, but I have read probably 1,000 essays that start with, my dream is this, the dream is to do this, right? And that's not going to be a winning essay. It's incredibly boring. Similarly, when you apply to college and you write the essay about like what's a hurdle that you've had to overcome or what's some adversity in your life, something like that, starting with some adversity is this, is just not going to cut it. So I think starting with a really specific memory tends to be a great way to do some nonfiction writing. For example, if you read a book of essays by somebody like David Sedaris, or if you read like a nonfiction essay online, right, in the New Yorker or anywhere else, they tend to start with kind of one specific memory. So that's where we're going to go. Okay. So here would be kind of how we could do this. Maybe you think that bullying is a big problem at your school. And that's kind of the thing you want to write about. Your dream is to fix bullying. Your dream is to stop bullying and prevent bullying. You could start by thinking of a time when you stood up against a bully, when you were bullied, or when you saw someone else do that, right? So maybe you have a memory of seeing somebody get bullied in the locker room, and you would like to, hey, Leah, and you would like to write about that, right? You saw somebody getting bullied in the locker room and you saw somebody else stand up for them. You want to write about that. You'll kind of use this line to anchor yourself and your readers. That's okay. We're glad you're back. You want to use this memory and use this line to kind of anchor yourself and anchor your readers into the story. So you might do a little bit of a lineup like this. So you would say sort of memory, how it connects to your dream, and then how you will solve that dream or how you will achieve that dream. Right? Because remember, the sort of the how you fix it is part of this year's contest. A different example, right, is like a specific memory from your own life can also help you with a big dream for yourself. Maybe you realize you always wanted to be a doctor, and you have a memory of going to the doctor and kind of being mistreated there, or you had to wait for a really long time to see a doctor, something like that. You could open with that specific memory, right? I broke my arm. I had to sit in the ER for 8 hours. Made me realize that I wanted to become a doctor so that other people didn't have to do that. My dream is to become a doctor, to do this kind of thing. Great. Grayson already opens with a memory. Excellent. Man, read my lesson plan. Let's go. Love it. And so when we think about this structure for all of our writing, opening with a personal specific is just sort of that chef's kiss that people really like to see. This is, if you want to screenshot this to me feels like a nice little structure. Memory or an opening hook. Explain how this hook relates to a problem or success you're seeing in your life, community, or school. And then tell us your dream. Is your dream a solution to the problem? Is your dream for the good things to continue? Let us know. And that's going to be kind of a nice 3-part structure for your 300-word essay, right? It's a very short essay, so you got to be really careful with the language that you're choosing. All right, and those are some sentence starters that we might need, but I don't think so. I'm going to stop sharing if that's okay with everybody. That's kind of the main meat of my presentation. I think what was probably best now is if we share some writing, or if this is a good time to write. If you have it and you want to email it to us, we can look at it. I'm volunteering Denise, sorry, Denise. Or if you want to use this time to write and ask questions, we can do that too. Whatever is flexible. Thanks, everybody. That was kind of a lot of talking from me up top. I apologize. We'll get into more of the workshop-y stuff now. So if you want to send me your essay, we can do a little real-time feedback with it right now. Do some revisions.
How does that sound, everybody? Good. Okay, great.
Yeah, I feel like because people are in the car and it's just right.
Yeah.
Maybe not in a great place to do some like writing. So that sounds good. Cool. So yeah, if you want to share it to me on Google Docs, you can do it that way.